Here are the best whiskeys to drink in the winter.
Hi, I'm Taryn.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, and welcome to Whiskey Break.
And it's December, and you know what that means? We're making a list of all the holiday and winter whiskeys that we love.
Yeah, it's officially cold outside, so it's time to break out all those high-proof, warm sippers. Let's get right into the list. Our first pick is John J. Bowman Single Barrel Bourbon.
Yes, this is a great bottle and honestly a quintessential holiday bottle for me specifically. I think this is just so fruity. It kind of leans in that dark fruit territory. I also always get cranberry, which is an awesome note and definitely something reminiscent of the holidays. And then some of these single barrel picks actually lean even more toward that fruit and go in like the fruit punch slash, fruit medley type of note, which is super fun. Kind of, very similar to, what I would get on like a mulled wine, which is obviously a very holiday thing. And yeah, I just really love this bottle and think the flavors scream winter.
Yeah, and if you've watched our videos before, you may have picked up on this is a different John J. Bowman bottle that we usually do. This is actually a single barrel pick. It has a little medallion on it. It doesn't actually differ from the normal release. It's not barrel proof or anything. It's still a 100 proof single barrel, but they recently put it into the program. So some of your local liquor stores might be getting picks of these. And I think that's just really awesome because then it's a little bit less up to chance of the bottle that you randomly grab. And if you have a liquor store that has a good palate, they tasted through it. This is just a great pickup. It's gonna be really fruity, really delicious. Our next bottle is Redwood Empire Rocket Top Rye.
Of all the Redwood Empire bottles, I think this is a bottle that doesn't get talked about enough. This is perfect for this list because it is so piney. It actually reminds me a lot of going through, Home Depot is where we get our trees, but, walking through a Christmas tree lot and, smelling that, Douglas fir, noble fir, all that kind of good stuff. It's very, very, very piney, but in a good way. It's honestly one of the most unique products that they have, and I really love it.
Yeah, I totally agree with Taryn. It is very piney, but I'm someone who's a little sensitive to that note when it's on like really youthful and harsh ryes. This is not that at all. It gives you all of that like tree and again, walking through the lot, tar, sap, all that kind of stuff. But it's very balanced. It's not youthful. It's not harsh. It's just, this is the rye I really want to reach for when it's Christmas time. I really enjoy this one. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down there. Thanks for watching. Let's get right back into the list.
The next bottle up is Jim Beam Winter Reserve.
This is a brand new release that we just picked up and it really shocked us. Even on the first pour, this just really surprised us for what it is. If you haven't heard of this bottle before, it is actually a 6-year age-dated bourbon finished in toasted barrels. Jim Beam decided to hide that information on the side of the label for some reason. From the front, it looks like a weird flavor whiskey. It's not. It's totally just a bourbon. But it's just a really good way to get a toasted bourbon that's more in the like baking spices, warming direction. It's not super sweet. It's not caramely like a Woodford Double Oaked. It's just nice and homey and kind of what I want to grab for this time of year. And all of that's at the 86 proof, which I think is actually really good. It's not watery. And it's a way to get that profile without going for something super barrel proof or a little bit crazy. And all of that comes in at a $25 price point. It's just really hard to beat.
Yes, the main notes that we got on this is similar to what the bottle says. I mean, vanilla, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, a lot of those baking spices like Jonathan mentioned. But yeah, it's just a really good bottle. And if you are sensitive to, the Jim Beam nuttiness, this bottle really doesn't have a lot of that. I know I'm a little sensitive to, really nutty profiles, and this bottle was great for me to drink. Not a lot of nuttiness, just a lot of those baking spices like we mentioned.
The next bottle on our list is Sagamore Sherry Finish Rye.
Yes, this is probably the most quintessential bottle on our list. You really aren't going to go on any Christmas, holiday, winter type list without having a wine finished rye. And in our opinion, this is the best wine finished rye for the value. It's absolutely amazing. I love it every time I take a sip because it is so rich, it's dark, it's complex. It obviously has, the rye spice, but a lot of it is, met with that jam-like dark fruit, plum, even a little bit of fig. It's just a really good meld of, the rye and the wine.
Yeah, as Taryn mentioned, this is going to be on a lot of those lists, and it used to be Midwinter Night's Dram was like the #1 Christmas whiskey. That's what everyone was chasing and wanting, but just in recent years, they bumped the price up too high to $150. Yeah. We've passed on Act 12 multiple times. We've heard good things. If you've never had a Midwinter Night's Dram, it's probably worth a pickup, but we've had a few different acts by now, and it's really hard to shell out that cash when we have this bottle sitting on the shelves for $70 to $80, and it just does basically everything that Midwinter Night's Dram does. I mean, we're not left wanting anything more when we're sipping this around the campfire, and just really love this bottle.
And speaking of wine, our next bottle is Isaac Bowman Port Finish.
Yeah, staying on the wine finish whiskey train, this bottle is great. If some of those notes Taryn was mentioning don't sound great to you, if you don't want something super dark or rich or complex or toasted tasting, this is a lot lighter, but still gives you all those really sweet, jammy notes. It is a bourbon, it's quite a bit lower proof, and it's quite a bit lower in price. This is really findable under $40. So if you just maybe you want to dip your toes into wine finished whiskey, you're not really sure you like it, or you just want something a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier, this is a great option. We really love this one. It's just so sweet and jammy. It's just a really good time.
Yeah, I completely agree. I know I usually get a little nervous when it comes to wine finishes because I'm just not really a huge wine person. And yeah, sometimes they are a little harsh. They're a little drying. They have a lot of, acidity that I'm not expecting or wanting in my drink. And this bottle does a really good job of keeping in that sweet jam-like territory like Jonathan mentioned. And I actually really like this bottle.
Yeah, it's a great pickup for the holiday season. Next up, we have RD1 Amburana Finished Bourbon.
Yes, this is obviously a very polarizing bottle. A lot of people either love or hate Amburana finish, and we actually genuinely love this bottle. It is something that's kind of come into our rotation and we're enjoying a lot lately, especially around these holidays and winter season. We also put it in our fall whiskey list, but we can see obviously an argument to put it in the winter list as well. So we actually heard from a lot of you guys that this is one of your Christmas time drinks. So we definitely put it on the list for you guys. And yeah, I think it's a great contender.
Yeah, honestly, this is one of my favorite pickups of the year. We have a lot of bottles in our collection, probably too many. And because of that, it's pretty rare that we pick up a bottle and it is so unique that it tastes like nothing that we have owned or previously tried, even at a bar. And this bottle definitely does that. Like Taryn said, Amburana, it's really polarizing, but if you want to dip your toes into it, this is a great bottle to do it. It's pretty readily available at a really reasonable price point. And, if you've never heard of Amburana, it's very cinnamon forward. This bottle is a little bit more like apple cinnamon. If you like smelling those cinnamon pine cones at the craft store, this is probably the bottle for you. And I mean, what better time to pick it up than the holiday season? Share it with some friends. It's going to be a showstopper, very polarizing. I think it's just a great pickup this time of year.
The next bottle on the list is Westward Stout Cask.
Yeah, we're typically a bourbon and rye channel, but occasionally we like to venture out a little bit. And this Westward Stout Cask is just fantastic. We really love this bottle, and we just love the Stout Cask. It is perfect for this time of year. It's got all of those chocolate notes that you'd expect, and it's just really, if you've never tried anything in the American single malt territory, this is where we recommend you start. This is actually a single barrel pick from them that's 90 proof, but even just their standard 90 proof stout cask, or if you have a local liquor store that's done a cask strength pick, even better. Anything that's finished in stout barrels from them, that's what we recommend this time of year.
Yes, absolutely. This bottle in particular is obviously very coffee, very chocolate, and it has a lot of oak to kind of, round it all out. It's absolutely delicious, like Jonathan mentioned. We have the bottle that's, a lower proof, and then we also have a cask strength version. We like both of them pretty much equally, I would say. And yeah, this bottle is, like Jonathan said, just a great holiday bottle. When I'm thinking of the holidays, I often think of, cozying up under the covers and maybe drinking a coffee or something in the morning. And honestly, what's more Christmassy than a bottle from Oregon with all the pine trees and just the whole scenery? It's just beautiful.
Our next recommendation is High and Wicked Cask Strength Bourbon.
Yes, this is definitely a Terran bottle. This is one of my favorites. This is actually the first bottle that I actually sought out myself. Yeah. So this is something that I actually had Jonathan go get us, and then also got us a backup so that I could, enjoy this, not even just around the holidays, but year round. But for the sake of this video, I do think it's a great Christmas whiskey just because it is so plummy, it's sweet. It's obviously a high rye, so you're gonna get some of that spice in there. But generally, I just love this bourbon and wish people would talk about it more. It is an absolute hidden gem for me, and I think it deserves to, have its time to shine. And I really hope people go out and try it.
Yeah, exactly. And we talked a lot about on this list some crazy whiskeys, finishes, rye, single malts, all over the place. If you just want something that's just a good high rye, cask strength, unfinished bourbon, this is probably our best recommendation on the list. There's just really nothing wrong with it, and it just really takes it up a notch when you sip it this time of year. Next up, we have Frey Ranch Single Barrel Cask Strength Rye.
Yes, this is probably the richest, most complex, dark rye that we have in our entire collection. We really like the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Barrel Proof Rye, and honestly, this is just that pretty much times 10 in just complexity. It's so delicious, and it's really dark and oaky, and I just really enjoy that. You can really taste, the rye grains, and you can definitely tell it's craft. So I completely love this brand, and I'm so excited to try more from them in the future.
Yeah, if you don't know, Frey Ranch is about as craft as it gets. They're 100% grain to glass. So they have a farm, they farm everything, distill it, everything's right there on property, and they're in Nevada. So that's probably where all that heat and where that really richness comes through. And we're just really impressed from them. And I mean, look at the bottle. It is crazy. It is hefty. Yes. This cork weighs like 2 pounds.
And the whiskey is dark.
Yeah. So this even works as like a great gift bottle. If you want to bring it over to a family gathering, we highly recommend this bottle, especially this time of year.
The next bottle up is Benchmark Full Proof.
Yeah, if you want something that's high proof bourbon on a budget, you just want something that'll warm you up this time of year, a little cold outside, it's hard to beat Benchmark. It's pretty good for the price. It's sometimes as cheap as $20 or even less.
Yeah.
It does come from the Buffalo Trace Distillery, and that's why so many people know about it. But I wouldn't go into it thinking that it's going to taste just like a good stag batch or as cherry as Eagle Rare or anything like that. A lot of those fruit notes are really muted. It's a lot in the back. It's just really good stereotypical bourbon, maybe a little bit more in that like caramel direction. It's not too oaky. It's not too youthful, which is actually really nice. It could be way hot, but it's just really solid for the price.
Yeah, I think it drinks really comfortably at that 125 proof. I'm not hit with a lot of spiciness, which is really nice. It doesn't burn my throat, which is awesome. But yeah, this is just, you really can't beat the value of this product. And it's probably the lowest, high proof offering that we can recommend to you guys.
Next up, we have Redwood Empire Van Duzen Rye.
Yes, this is actually a straight rye whiskey that is kind of in that malt profile because it is pretty high in malt. So like Jonathan mentioned earlier, we aren't huge single malt people, but honestly, this is a very approachable way to, start us off in that direction and see if we like it more and more. And we have been reaching for this bottle, just to kind of see how it goes and see how it opens up over time. And I think it's a pretty good bottle.
Yeah, as Karen mentioned, this is a straight rye whiskey, but it honestly tastes like they blended a rye with some of their American single malt together. You get those like piney, spicy rye notes, but then it's mixed in with all of that chocolate and like just kind of that malty profile. And honestly, they did a really good job at putting those flavors together because it's not really intuitive. It's not something you expect to work too well. And it's really unique. It's not something that we're going to reach for all the time, but this time of year, holiday season, a little bit of a desserty, chocolatey whiskey, this is something that works. And I think the rye spice really just helps put it all together, makes it a little bit more unique. It's a really fun bottle.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then also, I thought this was a little koi fish, just in the outline of, the kayak and stuff. But actually, if you guys didn't know, apparently it's a little owl. So that's a little fun party trick that you can show your friends. But yeah, just kind of a fun bottle. Always really praising their graphic design skills. They're amazing with their bottle designs. And yeah, good bottle to pick up.
And the final bottle on our list is Alberta Premium Cask Strength Rye.
Yes, this is another one of those bottles that we consider a hidden gem. I think it needs to be talked about more. And yeah, it is, you know, maybe not for beginners. It is quite spicy being at cask strength. It is very intense and a very good rye, but be forewarned, it is definitely hot.
Yeah, this is about as cask strength and as rye profile as it gets. It is incredibly spicy, incredibly piney, incredibly hot, but all in a good way. And it's just a really fun bottle. Try to ignore the packaging. It's a screw top. The label on the front looks like it's like a lab sample that's not for sale. It's just crazy. It comes in a blue box in the stores, and it's just really a fun bottle. It also is Canadian rye whiskey. So if you've never had that, this is 100% rye. It's not a 95.5 from MGP or anything like that. And it's just a really fun bottle. I find myself coming to it this time of year. It's kind of hard to drink in the summer, but again, in the holidays, I think it's a great bottle to pick up. Give it a shot.
And that rounds out our holiday winter whiskey list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully we gave you some great recommendations for maybe some stuff that you'll be sipping or bringing to holiday gatherings.
Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. We post new videos every week, and we'll see you next time.